Good morning. It's Bernard Nomberg, Nomberg Law Firm, again on another Tuesday, and we're out of the office and we're talking to Shannon Gober, who's the proprietor and owner of John City Diner. Good morning, Shannon.
Good morning. Glad to have you.
Appreciate you being here. We're not going to talk about the law today. We're going to talk about some fun stuff about what JCD is, John City Diner is affectionately known as, and we're going to also talk about some stuff that's going on in downtown. So Shannon, if you would, introduce yourself and tell the folks a little bit about yourself and this place.
Well, thanks for having us today. I'm Shannon Gober. It's interesting that after 13 and a half years, being here, that we're known as the JCD, or that just kind of shows the relationship that we've built with guys like Bernard and other neighbors that we have here downtown, which is really awesome to see.
Well, Shannon, tell us what is John City Diner known for?
Well, it's interesting. As we took over this place years ago, obviously there's the connection that's still in our name with John's, and so we feel like we've kind of carried that over from John's Restaurant from 1944, and we kind of carried that into who we are, and at the same time completely changed everything. Obviously, the first time that we came in here and saw this facility, as I kind of look around now, we saw this idea for this upscale diner concept, if you will. Now looking back as we, to the past and then back now to the future, the ideas that we had 13 and a half years ago with this upscale diner concept and meatloaf and chicken and waffles and macaroni and cheese, and lo and behold, here we are. Now those things have almost become commonplace with everybody else in the industry. So it's kind of interesting that we had this concept. Our meatloaf, I actually just did an interview with Birmingham magazine yesterday, still talking about our meatloaf, what makes it special, how do we do it, and over the process of being here for 13 and a half years too with our food, we've really gone farm to table, if you will. I know that's kind of an overused term at this point, but really focusing on high quality ingredients as local as we can get them.
Well, as a young lawyer, I would come in here with some of the old lawyers I was working for at the time, and there'd always be tables around here full of lawyers, either who I knew or knew of, talking about whatever's going on in the day. Is that still a tradition around here?
It is, and as those guys were as connected to John's as anybody could possibly be to a restaurant, and that's something that those guys have been coming here for years and years and years. And yes, back in our what we call dining room C, which is our private dining room back in the back, that was a Wednesday morning thing. So every Wednesday, and for years, now unfortunately that group has kind of dwindled down just as we all get older. But we still see them now come in more individually in little pockets. But we always had the lawyers table, and that was always Wednesday morning. And what was interesting is when we first opened up, we would be standing at the door, and all of a sudden, my wife and Sean and I would be standing there, and these guys would just walk right by us and just go straight back to the, we're going, what are these guys doing? What's going on here? So it even took us a minute, and they would literally walk in the door, walk right by you, walk right back to the table back there in the private dining room, sit down and look at you and go, hey, what's going on? Where is everybody?
That's right. Well, you had to learn in a hurry.
So we kind of figured that out as we went along too. But again, taking some of those things from the past, if you will, and incorporating them to who we are, even though again being something totally different, but also carrying on some of those traditions. And I think that's still really a big part of who we are. And we've started some new traditions on top of that as well. So that's really cool.
Sure. About 10 days or 2 weeks ago, I was here with David, and we had about 50 lawyers in that back room for a big meeting, and y'all did us right.
Well, I think that's part of is unfortunately is when you're talking about a restaurant again from 1944, you're going 50, 60, 70 years of business.
Right.
Well, what happens over that time? We unfortunately as people we don't all live forever, and so it's really interesting to watch the generations come in and out of this building from the past, and now the younger generations that are going to shape our future. But kind of coming in and doing some of the same things that John's Restaurant was famous for, we've kind of continued, and I think that's really cool.
Well, in the past 10 years, David and I have had our practices downtown. We've been here, obviously, I won't say how often, once a week, but we've noticed how integral or how much you have integrated yourself into the downtown revitalization. And one such thing is the iconic signage that you have on the side of your building.
Right.
Talk to us a little bit about that.
Well, again, it was kind of interesting. We really wanted to preserve history and also change everything at the same time. And so, with our food, as we've changed that to be more in tune with the times, from calf's liver to orange jello to carrot raisin salad. And by the way, those are all interesting things that now can be kind of revamped and upgraded.
Right.
Again, some of those things that we looked around and we saw the signage, I think probably the best thing we've ever done for a marketing standpoint for the business, but also just a kind of a throwback and a shout out, if you will, to Birmingham and the past and the city as a whole, is the mural that we put outside.
What does it say?
It's nice to have you in Birmingham.
And it spans almost the length of your building, doesn't it?
It's huge. I think the final dimensions were like 80 by 30.
Wow.
So it's a monster mural that we put out there years ago, and really we thought that would get some good traffic here to us, but at the same time, we could have easily have gone out and posted JCD and John City Diner and those kind of things, but we really wanted to do something cool that harkened back to the past, but again also kind of kept us going with the future as well, and that's been really cool. The John sign out front is another. I think actually the John sign may be more iconic to some degree than the mural itself, and that was obviously on the building. We repainted it, we redid that sign as well. So again, this kind of incorporation of old historical things also into some of the new things that we're doing is really what we are.
Well, certainly. Well, my window being directly across the street, I see kids, and not just kids, but people every single day pull over to the parking lot behind us and
I've always thought that we probably should have put in almost like a curtain, and then you had to come up and pop in a couple of dollars worth of quarters or something, and the curtain would span. But especially during the week, obviously there's a lot of foot traffic, but on the weekends, during the day on Saturdays and Sundays, especially this time of year with beautiful weather outside, you can get into a situation where you come down and get your picture made, and there might be 5 or 10 or 15. We have the event facility across the street, and it's almost become part of all of their weddings, that the entire party
that come across the street.
And what's funny is you're standing here at the restaurant and you're looking, and they're literally running at you, and you're thinking, are these people coming in to eat, or are they coming to attack us, or what's happening? But they're coming over to get the picture made.
I think it's fantastic. We got a shout out here, Glenn. Glad to have Shannon on the CAP board of directors. Thank you, Glenn. That brings me to that. Let's talk a little bit about CAP.
CAP is such an integral part of downtown, in my opinion. I think that's just a fact at this point. When you're coming down here and you're looking at a lot of the things that urban areas face and how we protect ourselves, security, things like that, CAP is integral to that. CAP is our security force here in a certain area downtown. They're available to us, but the thing is, what most people don't realize about CAP is that they're not only available to the businesses, but more so to the public. Anybody that's in the CAP district, it doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, business or not, you got a flat tire, you run out of gas, you lock your keys in your car, you need an escort ride, you've got any possible situation that's going on, they're right around the corner, they're here to help. And I think we've gotten better at letting people know what CAP is. But a lot of people don't even realize that that's available to them, that there is CAP, that's something that you can access to just as a normal citizen downtown, and that's a great service.
Having worked downtown for more than a decade, I see them all the time on their bikes, and they're always assisting folks. It's a great service, and we sure appreciate all the CAP folks do for the downtown
It's
area.
really, really important to our business, and I think if you look around and maybe see some of the struggles in other parts of the city with certain things that occur, that's why CAP has been so important to us, is to help us, and the thing about CAP too is it is a security force, but it's also out there to help people. CAP does a lot with the homeless community, not just in a situation of coming up and running those guys off, but when they approach those people, it's more of a situation of how can we help you, or here's where you can get help. Not just a, hey, get off my lawn type thing, but showing up and really trying to help people. And that's what CAP really does, is it really helps people, assists people from all walks of life, and it's really, really just integral to what we do downtown.
Sure. Speaking of downtown, we've got two big events coming up this weekend. We've got the annual Susan Komen Race for the Cure, which they've shifted where the race is going to be centrally located. It's going to be over at Regions Field, the Barons Ballpark, which is only about 6-8 blocks from here. And the race is through the downtown area as usual. And that'll be Saturday morning. And then we've also got UAB is playing Louisiana Tech at home on Saturday. And I know that you're always involved in what goes on in the downtown area. Tell the folks about your hours and maybe some of the dishes that you might be focusing on this weekend.
Well, lunch Monday through Friday to 2:30, starting at 11 o'clock every day. We do a great happy hour that starts from 4:30 to 6:30. It is in the bar only, with all of our craft beers at $3, all of our wines by the glass, half price, and all of our small plates half price as well during that time. So, kind of back to your point, I think it's when you look at 13 and a half years ago of downtown Birmingham, and now you see, I mean, just you mentioned like Railroad Park and going down there to that area. You know, if you're watching and you have not been or seen those areas, and if you've seen Railroad Park but haven't seen Regions Park attached to it, and now all of the other things that are going on around it, it's truly just unbelievable. I think it's funny, you know, you see people that were born and raised in Birmingham and maybe now they live in other parts of the country, and then they come back to visit and I go, hey, you got to go over to this area, and people are just completely blown away. You know, we're excited about UAB football being back. We're excited about all of these events, and they're just numerous, and they're, you know, it's not really just one big weekend now. It's a continuation of weekend after weekend, event after event. You know, you walk outside now, you see families, you see kids, you see people walking their dogs. So we've really gone from this downtown urban area to more of a neighborhood type feeling, and I think that's really, really awesome. Kind of back to the UAB thing, you know, several weeks ago when they kicked off, that we had people all over the place. And so I think that people now are realizing the impact that it has for the kids to be able to go out and play, but also the economic impact that it has on all of us.
Absolutely.
To get those people in here. You know, you think, you know, I think sometimes we're so geared towards SEC with, you know, Alabama and Auburn and the big schools, if you will. But there's a huge impact that UAB has on us, and we hope to see that just continue to grow in the future.
Absolutely. I know after the La Tech game, they've got a few more home games this fall. So if you guys can get over to Legion Field, it's a fun family day.
It really is.
Of watching some good football, because they've got a good program again.
They do. We're glad to have them.
Yeah. Well, Shannon, in closing, tell folks how they can find you. Where are we located, and how can they get in touch with you?
We're on Richard Arrington Boulevard, which is the same in line numerically as 21st Street. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram. JohnCityDiner.com. It's got all of our information there for you. So come on down and hang out with us anytime. Dinner, again, is Monday through Saturday. Lunch, Monday through Friday. Come down and hang out with us. We do post a lot on social media, you know, like we're doing today.
Absolutely.
So if you're looking for specials or kind of cool things that are going on or just what's happening, Twitter's is a great place. Facebook is a great place. If you're looking to kind of get a preview of some of these dishes, a few things that we've talked about today, Instagram is awesome. We're always posting great pictures on there that make you kind of go, hey, what's that? What are those guys doing? Or what's that thing? There's always specials, and there's always cool stuff going on down there.
Well, I hope to try out some of the menu in the upcoming days. Or I'll never admit how often we're here, but the Old School Turkey Club is excellent sandwich.
These guys have been around. They're going back to things like that are kind of old school to us, and we don't even think of ourselves as old school. So it's kind of interesting.
Well, Shannon, as always, thank you, bud, for spending a few minutes with us.
And hey,
talking
thanks to these guys for the support, and you know, come by and see these guys as well.
Well, guys, again, this is Bernard Nomberg with the Nomberg Law Firm, out and about on a Tuesday. We'll get back to another area of the law next week. Thank you for spending a few minutes with us, and we hope you guys have a good rest of your week. Take care.
Thank you.